Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today we're going to be trying to fix this Panasonic. It's a DVD player, but it's also got a hard drive in as well. Now this is my brother's one, and he's just going to tell us what happens. So again, it's been working fine for years.
And when you just looked at it normally, it was just the clock that was on. We tried to put a DVD in, but none of the buttons, apart from the clock being on, it was completely dead. None of the buttons did anything. Couldn't turn it on and off with the button or anything. Couldn't open or close it. Then I disconnected the power, reconnected the power again, and then I lost the clock, and the thing since then has been completely dead.
Right, so it's completely dead, and you've checked the lead, and it's not the lead or the fuse.
It's not the lead or the fuse.
But for the purpose of the video, we'll quickly show that it's not the lead.
Yes.
So yeah, that's it. That's hence the reason it's a trying to fix video. We're going to take it apart and see if there's anything obvious. Hopefully, I'm thinking initially power supply related with the internal power supply, but who knows? So first of all, let's get this lead tested. Do we want to use... We'll just use continuity to test the lead, yeah?
Might be safer.
Yeah. But, well, unplugged it now. Sorry, then it was plugged in, and as you can see, it's dead. So let's just set the meter to continuity. And by doing this, this will also check the fuse as well. So go on to there. Okay, so we've got continuity between that prong and that one there. And let's move on to this one. Okay, so that shows that the lead is okay, and also
and if you do
the
both,
fuse as well.
To show it's not short.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, so you want me to go in here?
Yeah, or you could, yeah. That's fine.
Okay,
yeah.
Or obviously you could do it that side, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
Right, so that looks like the lead's okay. So let's get the camera set up above this, and let's take it apart. So there's going to be a load of... Oh, we've got screws at the back here, so I presume you undo the screws, and then the side ones here, and this thing here must just lift up that way.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Right, let's get the camera set up. Right, there we go. So it just lifts off like that. So I want to be careful now because I don't want to touch the inside in case the capacitor is still live. Oh wow. Right, so we've got a nice bit of dust. You can see a little bit of burning up here, but that is probably just normal from the heat sinks and stuff. Right, let's have just a quick visual check to begin with. Right, so the power supply goes in this side here. Oh, so we've got a fuse. But it'd be unlikely to be the fuse because it's
we had the clock.
The clock was working, but let's just test it anyway.
Do you want me to vacuum it?
We can do that in a minute, yeah.
Okay.
Right, so the fuse is okay. Oh, here we go. Look at that capacitor there. Can you see? It looks like it's got some crud on it. Let's zoom right in there. That doesn't look too healthy. See that one there? I'm talking about this one. Yeah, that doesn't look great. Do you reckon that's the culprit? Oh, here we go. That's bulging there as well. Look, can you see this one here?
Apparently, you can get a capacitor repair kit for it, which says to me that there's
an issue with the capacitors.
Well, more than one of them.
Yeah, because look at this one here. You can also just see that one there is starting to bulge up on top. Right, and that is like this bit here is the power supply, isn't it? And then it will probably drop to... Would this be the thing to drop it to low voltage, this one?
Well, there's a transformer there, so that's...
Oh, okay. Here we go. So this is the hot side, isn't it? This bit here, you see within this boundary?
Yeah.
And then this is the low... So it's on the low voltage side. Yeah. Alright, well I think... I'm wondering how this comes apart here, because if we want to take this board out to work, do you reckon this just unclips or something?
I don't know.
Looks a bit of a weird... Kind of it's like a metal ribbon cable, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It does seem a bit loose, doesn't it?
I don't know. Oh, well done. Well done. Excellent. Okay, well I think what we'll do is let's just work purely on this side here because...
And hope for the best with it.
Yeah, because it sounds like a power supply issue. Yeah. We've seen two things that don't look right on this side. So maybe we could just change those two over to begin with, and we might be lucky. It might start working.
You reckon it's just the two, do you, Vince?
I don't know. But we might be able to test them. We might be able to unsolder some and test it using my little ESR meter.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think with that one?
Yeah, oh no, that looks dodgy. That looks dodgy.
Oh, that's the second one. Sorry.
Yeah, that is the one. Yeah, because can you see?
Yeah.
I believe that's why they have a cross at the top to allow it to
to vent.
Well, when they fail.
Fail, yes.
Because I suppose after that
safely.
they might vent safely. Exactly.
Yeah, because the aluminium must shear or something. It must break as the pressure builds up.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh right.
Well, okay. So yeah, let's get this board out. Hopefully that just pulls out there. Oh no, that's just for the fan. In fact, that can stay in because that's on that side of the board anyway. Let's get this board out. Right, so we need to undo this screw here, this one here, and also there's a screw at the back here. But I'm going to be really careful because can you see here, this is the high voltage side. So we've got a massive capacitor here, which is 450 volts. And remember, we have just had it plugged in. So there might well be a massive charge in there. So when I take this off, I'm not going to put my fingers anywhere near the bottom of that one, and then we'll measure it with our meter to see if there's any voltage in it. Otherwise, I'll get a nasty shock. I'm going to move this out of the way because hopefully the rest of that might be okay. Let's now measure this massive capacitor. So it is this one here. So let me get my meter and see if it's showing anything. So I'm on volts. So, with this, is all
that's volts DC.
Yeah, but are all capacitors DC then, or not? Or are all? I mean, would I be measuring DC now? I suppose I can measure both just in case. Actually, the secret side is the negative. Well, that's the negative. So the negative is this side here. No, so that's fine. You can see there. That's only 0.9 of a volt, and nothing on AC either. So I think that is going to be okay to touch. Is there any other capacitors you can see?
They're capacitors, aren't they? Or are they not?
Not sure. Should we measure them?
Yeah.
Okay, trying to get to AC. No, so I think it's okay. There was one little one here, but that's not going to be enough to do anything. Just that one there is here. Negative this side. Could you just pop it to DC for me? Yeah, that's fine. Now, if there was voltage in that capacitor, what I've got here is I've just got just like a lead here that I can plug incandescent light into, you know, a light bulb, and then just touch that against it. And in the past, and what's happened is it just lights up just for a split second, and then when I go to measure it afterwards, the voltage has gone from it. So that's what I've had to do on other things. Right, let's. I think I'm happy now to play with this. Should we just check these ones just in case?
We just take
they're only 16 volts. So everything should be fine now, shouldn't it?
Wait. Bang!
Yeah, there we go. Right.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay, so what we need to do is have a look at this capacitor here. So should I just get the meter on it to begin with, just to see if it's shorting? And then we can unsolder it and check it out. So it's this one here with all the crust on it. You can see it now. Don't know how well that's coming up in the picture. There. Right, so it's not short in both ways. Should we unsolder that and get a reading off it? Because it doesn't look good, does it?
Okay, yeah.
Right, so my soldering iron's up to temperature. Had a quick look on eBay, and one person's selling 4 of them, but they're not listing which ones they are, which is kind of clever because otherwise people would be buying their own ones. Another one is selling 9 of them. So basically, he's listed them and everything apart from this big one here. But this is what I'm thinking. I know people say you should just change, if one capacitor's changed, you should change them all. But the thing is, there's quite a few here, and also on the actual DVD player itself, it's got a huge amount of them. So there's no point in changing every single one of them. I think in this instance here, there is just like 1 or 2 or 3 that have failed, because the machine isn't that old. If this was from like the 1990s, like the Game Gear for example, then you would replace all the capacitors. But with this one, I think they have just failed for whatever reason. So what we're going to do is we're going to unsolder the suspected ones and see if they're testing faulty. And you know what? It won't take too long to unsolder the other ones, and if they're testing okay, put them back in again. Because I know they're cheap, but you know, where do you end? You don't want to have to end up changing like 50 capacitors across the whole machine. So to begin with, I'm going to go on this bad one here, and we can measure it with our meter. I also have an ESR meter, and we'll see what's happening. So we have taken every single capacitor off this board here and tested them all. You can see all the clean bits is where the capacitors were without the dust. And the only 2 that are testing out of range are the 2 that we suspected to begin with. Do you remember the one with the crud on top? Now we took the crud off and you can definitely see it's bulged. If you have a look there, you can see that is bulging up. Not hugely, but obviously it leaked something. And this one here, these are the only 2 that are testing faulty. So even if you didn't have any equipment, a visual check would have pinpointed these 2 here. Now just quickly, because I was a bit sort of unsure earlier, let me just show you the difference between, for example, a good capacitor, which came off the board, and the bad ones here. So if we let's use this one as an example. So this one here should be 1200 UF microfarad, and if I go across here with my meter, right, so it should be 1200, but it's coming up as 718. Well, there you go. So, and it's dropping. Hold on. So you can see that it's well out of range. There you go. See, 615. So it's not far off half. And then if we plug in this ESR, because when caps fail, I believe they can turn into a resistor. And if we go here, you can see it says here, good if capacitance is less than 200 microfarad, but it's not less than 200, it should be 1200, and you can see there that looks like it's acting more like a resistor. So that's a faulty one. But then if we go on to a good cap, so this cap here is 1800 microfarad, and if you just hold that for me, Paul. It's like a couple of clowns. Right, if we go on to here, so this should be 1800, and it's coming up as, there you go, 1.76, which is 1767. So that is within range, and if I stick it on here, remember the other one was testing 1 ohm, this is now 0.04 ohms, and it says here, good cap with low ESR. And if we go down the bottom here, this is 16 volt at 1800 microfarads, so 16 volt at 1800. Let's go all the way to 4200, it should be less than 0.2, and it's 0.03. If you go to 1000 UF, it should be less than 0.09, going by this table, and is coming up as 0.03. So you can see that really there's no need to change that capacitor. So what we're going to do is, all the other caps are testing good, so we're going to put all those caps back in, and we're just going to buy 2 capacitors, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that might have fixed the problem. So time to solder them all back in. Okay, so that is it so far. What we'll have to do now is get those capacitors and then film the rest of this video. Now there is a chance that those capacitors won't make any difference, but there's 2 of them that are definitely not looking right and testing right. So fingers crossed that will be the only thing that's wrong with it. But if not, they need to be changed anyway, and then we'll have to fault find further. So we'll be back to this video on another day after the parts have been ordered. See you then. Okay, so a few days have gone past now and the new capacitors have arrived. We've gone for Panasonic ones, and my brother's looked up the spec of the old ones and matched it. So these are both like 105, they go up to 105 degrees Celsius, and also they're down as low ESR. Now one of them is exactly the same. It is 1200 microfarads, 6.3 volts. This one here on the old one was 330 microfarads, 6.3 volts, but this one's 25 volts. Remember, it's okay to go higher on the voltage as long as the microfarad's the same. So we're going to pop these two back in, put it back together, and then see if it works. And when we're placing it in, you can see on the board here that they've marked up the positive and the negative, and also can you see on the negative that they've put like a mark here. So the negative is going to be the shorter leg, and also is marked up as negative, so it's going to go in this way around there, like that. Give it a very quick clean with IPA just on the bits that I've just soldered now, and also I'm just going to go over the rest of the board as well, because I did a lot of soldering the other day. Can't remember if I cleaned it before or not. Now obviously the reason you have to cut off the excess legs is not only just to make it look neat, but for example on this board here now, it sits down in to the casing, and the casing's metal, so if the two legs were left long, it would then short against the metal, and obviously it's going to cause problems again. So now what we're going to do is put this back in the case, and then we'll power it up and we'll see what happens. Right, okay, so that's the inside back together now. Screws in the corners there, screw on that one there, and also that little weird multi-plug ribbon cable thing, which I think is a really nice design, because you know that that metal's not going to fail the same as a ribbon cable, so I like that. Right, so it's all back together. We're going to test it properly on the TV in a minute, but just for the time being, let's plug it in and let's see if the light comes on. So, plug the power into the back here. Hopefully the time will come back on. Here we go, moment of truth. Come on now. Yes, please wait, it's down there. Look at that, look at that. Please wait. So it wasn't doing that before, it was completely dead. So it looks like those two capacitors were the issue. So I'm not sure how long it's going to take to boot up, but let's plug it over to the TV. I can also see a little DVD symbol down there.
There's a DVD in it.
Oh, there's a DVD in it. Perfect. Okay, well let's plug it into the TV and then see if we have any picture up on the screen. Okay, it is all working. Now we haven't brought the remote control. Paul's actually around my house at the moment, but you can see there, it says play there, and if you have a look up on the screen, you can see the Simpsons there, and if I was to stop it, you will see there, it's gone to there. So what a result. It's just failed from these tiny little capacitors here. Now, we had to buy it in packs of 5, or my brother had to buy it in packs of 5, because with CPC there's like a minimum spend on the order. But these would probably work out to be maybe, I don't know, 30 or 40p each. We did have to spend more, but at least now we have spare capacitors as well. So it still amazes me that the whole thing can fail from just such a small component. So yeah, you're happy with that, Paul? It's good.
I'm delighted. That's great.
Yeah,
Be able to watch DVDs again.
Yeah, and all for capacitors. It's amazing. So that is it for this video. We've had a bit of a result. Really enjoyed doing this one because you could see the visible signs of damage. Now, yes, I did use like the capacitance check and stuff like that on the meter and the ESR meter, but even if you had no tools at all apart from a screwdriver and a soldering iron, you would have been able to get this to work, because we've seen before doing any testing that these two were faulty. You've seen the crud on top of that one and the fact that this one was bulging out the top there. So even without specialist tools, you would have still got it working. So that is it for this video. If you liked it, I appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe for more Trying to Fix videos. Take care. Bye now.